Hey, board gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back with another episode of Gumbo Live. It's episode number 94. Gumbo Live, the #1 Facebook Live talk show dedicated to board gaming. Our special guest tonight, it's going to be Jambalaya. Jeremy is back. He wants to talk about a lot of games. Jambalaya plays a lot of games. He brings the games every time he's on the show, and he's also going to get you kind of ready for our trip, for his trip to PAX Unplugged. If he's still going, we're going to find out. I know the Name Father will be there. So anytime you want a chance to finally meet Steve O'Rourke, who helps produce the show, get out to PAX Unplugged coming up. Hey, Board Game Gumbo is a proud member of Punchboard Media. Check out some of our other fine members like Chris Whitpan and Dan the Bartender, our late night talk show rivals. They bring you the biggest names in the industry in a relaxed format called Game All Night. It's out on YouTube. It's a show about board games and beer and the people who love both of those. Plus, they always play a zany game, and Chris has the best set in business. I got to be there on with the show. Yeah, I think Jeremy is coming in. Let's see. That's enough blather. Let's get right to our guest here. Let's see if we got Jeremy. There he is, Jambalaya.
Hey, how y'all doing, man?
What's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
So,
all right, cool.
Hey, we got a couple of people checking in the chat crew. Marshall, how'd you like that intro music there, Marshall? Hey, that's thanks to Carlos, who did a fancy little intro. You haven't seen it yet, Jambalaya, but we got a fancy little intro now. Yeah. See who else is checking in. Oh, and Verla LeBaron. Hey, Jambalaya, Verla's got some good news. Verla got a new job.
Oh, how about that? Where?
She is with Funnigan Games.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I got a little surprise from Funnigan this morning. I didn't know this, but Steven over at Indie Boards and Cards uses Funnigan for their delivery. And Verla, I got my Agizia Shifting Sands edition today.
So I did not back that game. I want to check it out. I haven't played Agizia or what's the game before that?
Well, there was a Agizia, and then they had some little mini expansions that were
I just never played it. So there's a couple of those like Edo, whatever is that game? I think it was called Edo that came out.
Oh, I know
that was another one. Like just these ones that are reprinted. Like before, I was kind of talking about that before. Like some of these games, 2014 before, like I just don't like have knowledge of. So
sure.
So that's these are the type of games that I'd be looking for, heading into Origin. So.
Jambalaya, you're the Kickstarter dude, and before we get to all the mini games that you're going to be talking, I wanted to talk real briefly about a game I got to see at BGG Con. Have you heard of or seen Zoned Out?
No, sir.
It's from Gray Fox Games, and Gray Fox Games has a Kickstarter. It's a quick turnaround Kickstarter. Can you see it right there in that picture?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's got a very quick turnaround on the Kickstarter. It actually ends in 2 days. And I was talking to Josh, who did the development work for it. He said there wasn't a lot of development because the game was just about ready the way it is. Or I might be mixing that up with Jay Cormier's game. No, maybe draw your own conclusions. Didn't have a lot of development work. In this one, Josh did some development work to get this thing ready. As you can see, the colors are crazy. It's this easy, breezy city building game where you score points. It's from Gray Fox, and unlike their normal ones where, Jambalaya, we've had to wait for a while to get some of our Kickstarters back because of all the minis and everything. This one is ready to go, and they're going to hit the print button and get it out to people very quickly as soon as the campaign ends. So I unfortunately, I didn't have time to do a crowd surfing, segment. What we used to see you do, Jambalaya. We don't see you doing crowd surfing much anymore. I know you're
No.
But so anymore. I want to spotlight that from our friends at Gray Fox. I can't remember the designer's name off the top of my head, but Josh gave me a quick overview. He actually kind of played a couple of turns before. And if you like those city building style games, this one's got this twist where the pieces actually kind of build up and then chain off of each other. So it looks pretty cool.
So I'm in we're going to see a lot of that tonight. a lot of that, like that kind of stuff with city building and city types of games where you're building and tile laying combinations. So I'm kind of in that wheelhouse right now. Like I'm seeing a lot of that right now. So I'm, we'll see how I come out of that phase right now and see, and as we close out the year. But there's a lot of those games.
So
right
that's
now with
Zoned Out from Great Box Games out on Kickstarter right now. BJ from Board Game Gumbo. I've got my guest, Jambalaya Plays Games. Jambalaya, you've been on the show a bunch of times. Just in case people don't know you, give us the quick elevator pitch. Who is Jambalaya? But more importantly, who are you working with now? It's like every time we have you on the show, you're with somebody different.
That's not true.
Yeah, it's not true.
My name is Jeremy Howard. I am known as Jambalaya. I started out as a blogger. Now I do videos, stuff at cons. You may see me doing that. But mainly I'm a reviewer, previewer, promoter. I do pretty much everything. Just depends on what what game requires what. But yeah, you pretty much will see me everywhere on Facebook. I have a Solo Sundays with Jambalaya, but most of my content, Kickstarter previews, and other things will be found on Man vs. Meeple. So you can see me on that channel. It's been a great process. It's been a big learning process, and I'm really excited to be part of the team.
Hey, the name father says it right. The man, the myth, the legend. It's onwards and upwards for Jambalaya.
Oh my God.
I do enjoy your Sunday night content over there. You're doing some good stuff. And I love the fact that you're bringing in your kid even more and more. Every time I see you, a little bit more.
Yeah. We got to get him to the table. He's super shy, and that's okay. But I also want him to, get with it a little bit and try some new things, man. Try some new things. Step out a little bit.
So Verla says she's the new general manager of fulfillment over there for Kickstarter portion of Fun Again. She might have even packed my Agizia herself, and she probably didn't even know.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that nice?
Hey, let me grab a cord really quickly. I got to grab my power cord. I just realized my power cord was not plugged in. Let me go grab
I'll riff while you do that.
Okay, riff.
Hey, we're going to be talking about a lot of games tonight. Look at that. Look at those shelves that Jambalaya has. So, chat crew, if you've got any questions about any of the games that you see Jambalaya post about, or maybe some games that are coming up on PAX U, you never know. Jambalaya might just have those prepared. You should see this list. If you could see the show notes, you would see a tremendous list from Jambalaya. I mean, he's got, oh my God. If we covered every game Jambalaya had that we were going to talk about, we'd be here for 2 days. Jambalaya, I was telling the chat crew, you've got an amazing list. Games that I know about, and some games I never even heard of.
Oh man, I
can't wait to talk about these.
I play all of them. I think I'm not Steph Hodge, but I try to play pretty much everything.
Did you see the latest? She is at 458 new games this year.
Yeah. I got quite a few, but between us, like the MVM team, like we play a lot of games, man.
Hey, just briefly, what's next for you with MVM? Do you is there anything you can kind of give us a gumbo scoop on?
So some things I'm working on. We don't necessarily know if they're going to happen. Let's just say that. One thing would be something around apps, based on apps and board games.
Okay.
Something that's based on games that are in the Japanese, Taiwanese market, some of the smaller published games and things like that from that corner of the market, Tokyo types of stuff like that. Because that's stuff that I love. And then also possibly some kids programming. So we'll see. Yeah, there's a couple different entities in that thing that may be possible. That's going to be a long shot, but yeah, like kids toys, kids teaching kids, alternatives to teaching kids, board games, crossover between board games, toys, and app, like all kinds of stuff. Just we're working on a lot. Nothing's done.
You got me curious, that's for sure.
Yeah, so we're tossing ideas out. Yeah.
BJ from Board Game Gumbo, I've got my guest here. Jambalaya Plays Games. Hey, Jambalaya.
Ooh, we got a lot to talk about.
Cthulhu Death May Die might be one of the games that has been just hitting social media everywhere, but you played it.
Yeah, it hasn't been off my table for a week. Hasn't been off my table for a full week. This game right here is quite special. I'll tell you why. So, Cthulhu Death May Die, I'll just give you a preface. I am not a fan of Cthulhu games. I don't like them. I like the theme as far as like the books, Necronomicon, all that kind of stuff like that. But whenever I play the games, I get somewhat excited about them, and then I don't like them. Arkham Horror, didn't like it. What was that? Elder Sign, bored.
Oh, I love the Elder Signs.
The LCG game, I bought it 3 times, sold it 3 times. I think last time I just gave it away. Like I just quit. I was like, I quit. So this game is definitely a departure. And what is it? Basically, you are trying to defeat these gods. I have like Cthulhu right here. I have Haster right here, which is in the base box. Then I also have one of the guys from the Unspeakable box right here. This kind of weird, nasty looking dude. And you're basically going through these little scenarios, 1 through 6. Each scenario is going to have a different way of defeating it. Now, the cool part is of course, you're disrupting the ritual so you can fight these beasts like in the world. But the cool part is that they physically come on the table, okay? Like they physically come on the table and you have to fight them. And they affect the board in so many ways before they even get there. And then they really ramp it up when they get on there. So you're really trying to like knock them out one level card by level card and eventually beat them. Now, this is basically a rolling dice chucking type game, but it has some interesting mechanisms to it. So for one, you're going to be rolling these die and they're going to have different combinations of things on there, but you can also get re-rolls by using your I can't remember what it's called. It's not sanity. But,
no.
Yeah, but there's sanity is yeah.
Sanity's at the top. That's the one that
stress,
gives you
stress.
Yeah, you can stress your character.
Stress, right? You reroll with your stress, and stress is like your reroll thing, and then you have your health. You can't die before the beast gets on the table. So you got all this stuff that you can do. You're moving around, and all these guys have different abilities. They have a specialized ability, and there's like 6 other different types of things, like swiftness, marksman, all this other stuff. But then each one of them has their own specific cool little thing they do. And to give you an idea of what some of these characters do, like this is Rasputin. He actually can die. He can actually die once. And when he dies once, he comes back to life with full health and he can start, like fight over again. Or there's like a kid. This is the kid and she has fire, which is kind of cool. I like that.
Nice.
And she likes to be like by portals instead of like being away from portals. And she damages everybody by the portal. So, and they have like cool little backstories on here. They actually really put their foot into this one, man. They really like cared about those little details. But the actual gameplay, this is not, this is just a dice chucker, but each scenario is not necessarily like we're just dice chucking, you win, you lose. It's going to come down to rolls. It definitely is. But you're going to have different things you need to do in different missions that don't just require attack.
Right.
So some of these things are going to require a lot of communication and handing things off. And at first you may not want to do that because you're figuring like, this is just a dice chucker, just run around, whatever. But you actually may have to do like pass the flag, like to fulfill certain things to get to the other side. And you may have to sacrifice someone and say, hey, like you guys go, just like a movie, like you got to run to the other side, man. Just go. And I'll take out as many people as possible. And that's the cool part of this game. Now, meanwhile, there's this cool mechanism where how you level up. So you're going to lose sanity. This is, a Cthulhu game. And
sure.
the sanity when you roll Elder Signs is pretty cool. But as you lose your sanity, you hit these level caps and you start to level up.
I love that part.
Abilities that I have. Now, the cool part about that is that like it's a risk. You want to get to these better abilities, but you also can't go insane. And that's the way the game ultimately ends. If you die before Cthulhu or the beast gets on the board, you lose automatically, which is tough as it is.
The beauty of this game is that big cinematic finish where both, all of your characters are really leveling up. You become super powerful, but then the monster's on the board.
Oh my gosh. And it's tense because like once the boss gets on the board, you have multiple ways he can trigger. And then you may or may not have like broke the ritual yet. So you got that, and you may have one person about to finish it off. Meanwhile, all his portal things have triggered, like all just like, you're like, oh my God, this is insane. But it's a huge ramp up with a big payoff. And each scenario maybe takes like maybe an hour and a half max. That's the cool part about it. It's not an AP driven game. It's still got that simple mechanics to it. Simple choices, but you do have to make cooperative choices, and those aren't that hard. It's just, oh my God, like you have to run. I can't run that far, or I can shoot them from 1 square away, or now 2 squares away because I've gone insane enough to level up that far. Or
I played Morgan we only played it once at BGG Con, although actually Dave and Carlos played it a bunch of times, but I only played it once. We played we played against Cthulhu, and I played. Do you have Morgan handy?
Yeah, I was just about to grab her.
So Morgan is the Indiana Jones looking guy.
Oh yeah. The guy who can like run to people's defense.
Super protection, right?
Yeah,
super tank.
protection. Yeah.
By the end of the game, the cultists couldn't even touch me. I'm literally walking around. The cultists are bouncing off of me and exploding into flames. It was just,
dude.
Jamal, you gotta say it. I don't really play those kind of games. It's my favorite. You know me. I love Euros. I love family weight games. I love gateway games. But this game hits on all cylinders.
Dude, do you understand? I have an unspeakable box. Do you realize how many freaking characters are in this game? This is so
this is awesome. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, this is dude. I actually went back. I got this. I did not back it. I got it off of Boardlandia, which I swear I should just sponsor them because they're awesome.
You should.
And yeah, Boardlandia is just awesome. They're just great. They're from Wisconsin. And I got this, and I immediately went back. I played about 3 times that weekend. I immediately went back and ordered the season 2, like right away. I was just like, I want all of this. Minis are high quality.
So you have even more content coming.
So I got even more content coming. This is just that type of game. Like, it's a type of game that I'm going to keep around, and we'll see what happens because this is awesome. That game's awesome.
And that is Cthulhu, Death May Die, Simon Games, designed by Rob Davio and Eric Lang. And I'm telling you, this, no offense, this blows Zombicide out the water. I don't have any reason to play Zombicide anymore. When people discover this game, they're going to see how much fun it is. And Jamal, like you said, quick playing. It took us about a half hour or so with the rules teach, and then maybe an hour and a half all total to play the first scenario.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It was breezy, man.
When you read the rule book, you're like, oh, this is pretty simple. Like,
it's pretty simple.
Yeah. And even like the ambiguous rules, it just falls in the same line of Arkham rules. Like, whatever's worst, just do that. Like, that's it. Like, let's keep moving. Like, the worst thing. Well, that sucks. Yeah, that's how the
only tricky thing we had was fire, trying to figure out whether fire stays on you or not. There's a couple of little quirky things, but they don't really affect gameplay. The gameplay really is about the big boss, right? Getting ready for it.
Whatever choice you make actually could make sense either way too. Like, I realized that. Like, I actually played the fire thing wrong too, and I realized, like, actually it doesn't really matter. Like, you just roll for the fire, stay or go. Like, whatever, it doesn't matter, man. It's just fun. It's just fun.
And that's Cthulhu Death May Die, out from Simon right now. BJ from Game Gumbo. Yep. Come on. That's right. Come on.
Come on.
BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here. Jambalaya Plays Game. We're talking big games that he's been looking at. And one of those is a game I got to play at BGG Con, Detective City of Angels from Van Ryder Games. Jambalaya, give us a scoop. What's Detective all about?
Oh gosh, I like that game quite a bit. I don't know why I come in so frizzy on your cast. I have no idea why. Anyway,
but I don't know either. We got a good connection here, but you're a little bit fuzzy. But that's okay. We're gonna roll.
I have no idea why I'm fuzzy on your thing. But it's this game. I have not played this game officially. Honestly, I had to know why you had this on my list, but. Detective City of Angels is it's a detective game set in like
I thought you put it on the list.
I did not put it on there.
That's me.
Yeah, I know. It's on you. You put it on there.
Have you played it yet?
But no, I haven't. My friend who has the game has had it since I got it.
I'm gonna give you the elevator pitch.
Yeah.
This is one of these mystery games that is more about the game itself and the atmosphere rather than just figuring out the clues. It is figuring out clues. Understand, there's a murder or something happened, and you are rival detectives, and you're trying to get that promotion, and you're competing against all these other people on that board that you can see in the picture. But the twist of this game is the chisel. One of the players is going to be working as the suspects themselves. And each detective, when they confront a suspect, and as the game develops, more and more suspects come out, you have to read the chisel, because the chisel is going to look right at you in the eye, and they're going to answer your questions. But are they telling the truth? Are they telling a lie? Or are they just misdirecting you? And Jambalaya, if you guess wrong, they get leverage on you, which means the next time you try to ask a question of them, they say, nope, bazaar's closed. We're not going to answer these questions. And man, all of a sudden now you're 2 steps behind everybody else on the board. And the whole game, every time we played 4 times at BGG Con, 11 hours. Jambalaya, I don't play any game that long. 11 hours at BGG Con. I'm telling you, this is my game of the year, Jambalaya.
But you know what? That's the reason why I went into it. First of all, I like this theme a lot. Like it's a theme I'm all in on. I'm trying to think of what was
that one
like
that you liked? That
like Black.
what was the detective game that you liked?
Detective.
It had card play in it, and you're trying to solve the little mystery.
Yeah, it was Detective Club, I believe it's called.
Something like that.
It was a little card game. You roll and like you try to catch these different icons and things like that to fulfill little parts of it. That was a really good like small travel game. That wasn't necessarily like it was set in that same universe.
I just can't believe 2 years in a row, two different companies put out 2 detective games, and they are both home runs. I'm not talking doubles or triples. Detective and Detective City of Angels are both home runs in my book.
And I want more of it. I have not played the Detective Noir one that's out. I would love to see that. So
I don't know that one yet.
They have played it. Detective has a LA Noir expansion.
Oh, LA Noir. I played that one.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. In fact, I'll tell you, Jambalaya, it's better than the original. Whoa. It is. It's better. The stories are better. The characters, if you like me, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s watching police procedurals, you're going to recognize every trope that comes out. Oh, I'm telling you. I loved to death Portal Games version of Detective, but I'm going to tell you, Detective City of Angels, I am addicted to it. I would literally play it right. If we were doing the Envy game, I would tell you it's Detective City of Angels. I'd go play right now. It's that good. Wow. It is that good. BJ from Board Game Gumbo, we're talking big games, spicy games that Jambalaya has played lately. Let's flip to one that is on your list. I'm assuming Paranormal Detectives is on your list.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have all the other ones that you. By the way, I checked it like super last minute, so I was freaking out.
That was me then.
Yeah. Okay. So Paranormal Detectives is basically like a Mysterium type game. Now this is by Lucky. This is like Lucky Duck. This is Lucky Duck Games, which
that's the people that brought up Chronicles of Crime, right?
Yeah. So I was ready to go right away. So basically, what you're having is like you are dead, and you are the ghost, and you're trying to tell people how you died. Now everybody's going to get a board, and it's going to say like who, what, where, when, why. It's actually going to have like a little card that tells you, hey, like this is how I died. And you're going to like kind of show little parts of injury that you had on your body from how you died. So you get some initial clues. Then the actual ghost is going to like read a story, and they're going to kind of give you an idea of what sets the scene. Now the characters, you all have cards. You have a hand of cards that you'll play, and each one of the cards will tell you, hey, like I want you to use this ghost meter to set up 3 markers that will tell me things about you. I want you to use the Ouija board to tell me different things about what happened. And all you have to do is ask a who, what, where, when, and why, and then also play a card. Now, I'm going to show you one of these things on the Ouija board. So, like, let's say you have this Ouija board, right? The ghost, well, here, let me move like that. Okay, so let's say the Ouija board is on here, right? The ghost will take it and go to a section on the Ouija board, and you'll just kind of like have to deduce what they're saying by putting it on there. And like that way you'll know what body part there is. Then there's like you have tarot cards. So you can have one where they ask you to like play some tarot cards to kind of give you an idea of different things that may happen.
Wow.
There's also here, hold on, dude. There's some pretty crazy ones in here. Hold on a second. I gotta show you this because you can draw on somebody's back, okay, to give them a clue as well. So you can like draw letters on someone's back, like old school like games that we used to play when we were kids. And then finally, this is a good one too. This one is you get to take these strings. You get to take these strings and like try
Wait,
to
what?
Like you get to like you have to catch this on our MVM live stream. Like
I gotta watch this, man.
You gotta like it's so stupid. It's so stupid.
This is like the Carol Burnett show. Jambalaya has lost
it. Like you take the strings and like you kind of like twirl them together or put them together and try to like make something that makes sense to someone and lay it out. It's all these clues to help people tell who, what, where, when. Like, how did you die? Where did you die? What did you die of? And players will get the chance to write this stuff on their own little player boards and stuff like that.
I'm getting that Mysterium vibe, but I'm also getting more of a sense of fun during the game.
Yeah, I just feel like this one's way more fun. like I just like the fact that like everything here is just so much more detailed and it has more of a twist to it that I like. Like you're gonna have your little player cards here, and you're gonna be able to write your little notes on here and kind of say what you died of, where did you die, that kind of stuff like that. So this is a really, really high quality stuff, and of course, that's what Lucky Duck is. They really have had a good run right now. So
they have. I love that box cover, by the way. Paranormal Detectives.
The art. Yeah, the art is really nice in this game. So like each one, everybody has their own little set deck of cards. They're mostly all the same. But yeah, that's really cool. game.
So does it fire Mysterium from your collection, or does the fact that it has that fun factor kind of different? Oh, really? It does?
I'm not even. Yeah, Mysterium was cute. Even Obscurio is better than that. So yeah, I just don't like Mysterium that much.
So that is Paranormal Detectives from Lucky Duck Games, and that is one of Jambalaya says it fires Mysterium in his collection.
Fired.
You're fired.
Don't throw it into the lake. Throw it into the fire.
BJ from More Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Jambalaya, and we're talking spicy games that he's got. Lots of games that are either already out or coming out. Maybe games that you can check out for yourself at PAX Unplugged. And one of those is a game I know nothing about. So Jambalaya, you're gonna have to tell me about this one. Flip over frog. What are we talking about here?
Come on, man.
I only know it because of you, because you posted about it.
Flip over frog. Okay, I love Flip over frog. So basically what you're doing in this game, and this is a very simple game. As a matter of fact, I would say this is like one of those great 2-player games that you can play that will kill a good 15-20 minutes of your time. It's super easy to play. I really highly recommend this if you're going like for a travel game for couples, but it can play up to 4. So what you're doing is you got this board, and you're going to get different colors. There's 4 colors in the game. It'll tell you what your colors are. Sorry. And you're going to leave that to yourself. You can't, nobody needs to know. What you're doing is you're laying, and you're just basically taking tiles. You'll have a hand of tiles to start out with, and you're laying a tile on there, right? So you lay a tile on there, and you notice it has arrows right there. So whenever you lay the tile, it's going to flip over the ones that are next to it. So let's say I had this right here, and I place this down like this. So I place it down, that flips over this one like that. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're doing this hidden kind of game of flipping things over. Now, if this is flipped over like this, I can put something on top of it. So now I have 2 of mine. Let's say that's 2 of mine right there. Okay. Now, if someone comes back and they go like this, now it flips over the one in the middle. So like you can play this flipping game the whole time. Like you can keep playing this flip and back and forth thing. If you play the snake, which of course it always has to be a mitigation, right?
Sure.
The snake comes and it eats off this guy completely. All right. That's it.
That's the whole game.
So the whole game really is this game of triggering off combos. I mean, you could see it. Like if you had 3 or 4 of these things and you have all diagonals, you could flip over everything to the left, right, and everywhere, towards the end of the game. And you don't know who's what. Because that's part of the deception, though, is to keep in the deception of who you are. Because whoever has the most on there at the end of the game wins, right? So it's got a really weird kind of quirk to it. Of course, very easy. I had I believe the Japanese version of this game.
What's the age for this game? You think?
Oh, this you can learn. An 8-year-old can learn this game and be and be really good at it after getting their butt kicked maybe once or twice.
And who's the publisher?
This is Hub Games. Hub Games has some really cool games right now that I'm really excited about. You didn't put Mega City Oceana on there. That one's a cool game. Oh my goodness. Did I put that on there?
Yeah, we can talk about that. I don't have a picture, but we can talk about it right now if you want.
Oh my God. Hey, yeah, go on BGG real quick. I want to talk about this game.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll do it right now.
Mega City Oceana. Now, this game nobody's talked about. Okay, this is, I believe, a Jordan Draper game, right? I think it is, because this is like his style of game. Yeah, Jordan Draper and Michael Fox. Okay, so Mega City Oceana is a weird kind of twist on. Wow,
I can't even find it, man.
Yeah,
sure, it's out there.
Mega City. Just put Mega City. Mega City together. Mega City Oceana.
Oh, maybe together. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, you're trying to fulfill these cards which are different height buildings. Now, there's a city in the middle of the table, like in the middle of your big table. And what you're doing is drafting tiles you're taking tiles from a bag, or you're grabbing orders. And the tiles are different shapes. When I say bag, I mean a bag. All right, of these different things here. And you are putting them on top of tiles. Now, when you draft these tiles, they're going to be different shapes and sizes. Okay, so they're going to be laying out, and you're going to have these platforms that you need to put them on. You're drafting these too. Okay, so as you draft these tiles, they're going to go on top of the platforms, and you have to hit a certain height requirement for fulfilling these cards. Okay. Now, the cool part about this is when you get these things stacked up and you fulfill the cards, because usually in games like this, it's very just dexterity. But this is actually like missions. You're fulfilling these mission cards right here for different companies and different heights and different requirements for them. What you have to do once you get to the certain height or certain whatever it says, you have to push it into the middle in the city. So now that you've got it all set up right, you have to push it on the table all the way to the middle of the city and combine it with the city. And that actually gives you points for like adjacency, for enclosing a circle, putting little pieces that add up to be a park for points at the end of the game and during the game. It's such a sweet game. And I know nobody's talking about it. It kind of got glanced over. Hub Game is the one that made the Trouble Life of Billy Kerr.
Oh, sure, yeah.
They've done Rory's. What is that? Rory's Story Cubes. All these other things, but they are really good at imagination. And this is their 2 games that came out this year. And I'm over the moon about both. I think
I'm looking on BGG. It's Jordan Draper, and I love Jordan Draper's little auction game to Turin Market. Yeah, I carry it around with me everywhere. And then Michael Fox, who I think is that podcaster, if I remember right, who does the metal Meeple, something like that. I can't remember. Okay. If I remember, that's him. So that's an interesting pedigree there. 2 to 4 players, takes about an hour. Is that right?
Yeah, it takes about an hour. I think your first game is going to take longer than expected because you're going to be thinking about this quite a bit. That's the thing about Jordan Draper. He makes games that are very easy to learn.
It's true.
And they're very handsy, but like they just have such a twist to them. You're like, oh, I'm supposed to do that? Okay, cool. Like at first I'm just like, okay, you're getting these pieces out. You're trying to make these formations. Okay, cool. It's a whole bunch of junky pieces and stuff like that. Then you start playing. You're like, well, you really got to think this out because the order you complete these in, you kind of don't want to trigger the end of the game at certain points. You get bonuses for having the highest. You get bonuses for having the most in this area, and like fulfilling a certain amount of mission cards, all kinds of stuff. It's a very good game. It's a very good game. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So it says it was a re-implementation of Tokyo Jutaku.
Yeah, and I have not played that.
Okay,
I have not played that.
So that's Mega City Oceana from Hub Games, designed by Jordan Draper and Michael Fox, and it gets a thumbs up from you, Jambalaya?
Definitely gets a thumbs up from me. I think this is definitely one you want to play first. If you're at a convention, I would definitely seek them out and try it out. Flip Over Frog is going to probably be right there. Of course, I think this is an easier buy. It's probably about $15, but and that one's going to be a lot more expensive because it has a ton of components in it. So, yeah, just make sure you check that one out. And like I said, I would definitely suggest you play it first.
BJ from Game Gumbo, I've got my guest here. Jambalaya Plays Games. Oh. We're talking spicy games, and I stole a picture, Jambalaya, off of one of your feeds, and that is for this next game we want to talk about, Bloomtown.
Yeah. All right. So we have Bloomtown is by Sidekick Games, and I believe this is their first game.
I think so.
Yeah, I believe this is their first game. This is a Walmart exclusive.
So this is Jambalaya on the screen talking about Bloomtown. With Jambalaya on the screen talking about Bloomtown.
Wow. I almost was wearing the same shirt. All right. Anyway,
it's true.
I was wearing the same shirt. No, actually, let's keep that on the screen. Let's keep that on the screen. So what you're doing in Bloomtown is it's a tile laying and like drafting game. So you have these different types of buildings. You're going to have like residential buildings, shops, subways, and all that stuff. They're all different colors. You have your main board, which I have my fingers on right there on the screen. And you're going to be taking tiles from your hand. You're always going to have 2. And you're placing it on one of the flowers in one of those rows and columns. when you play this game, so when you place it, you always get points. Always. It is points from the get-go. So every time you place it, you will at least get 1 point. That's why I tell people you always get something. And when you place it, you also will score for the combo condition for that for that tile. So let's say, like, if it's a purple building, it needs to be in a row or column with the same building. If it's a subway, it needs to be in a zigzag. So if you're in diagonals and zigzags, then you need that as well. You also have the reds, which are I can't remember what they're called, but like they have to be at unique buildings next to them. You also have shops, which have specific requirements, like red and green buildings, so you kind of have to do that. And then you have parks, which can be a 1, 2, or 3 sets, and they score you bonuses. Now, I'm saying all that because you have to pay attention to how the tiles roll out, because it's kind of random. Over on the city board over on the right, you're going to see a stack of tiles. Inside of there are scoring tiles that go on the top of the board up there, as you can see with the little arrows and different things like that.
Sure.
And when the first one comes up, you know that the second one may come up and we have to rescore it. It's called rescoring. And you are trying to pay attention to, like what stack you grab from at the bottom, because when you place a tile, whatever flower you place it on, you're going to grab from that stack. So there's a little bit of strategy of not only placing things that score in a certain combo, but also what I want to place it on this flower right here because I specifically want the tile from that board. But you're also creating a timer for the game, because once a certain amount of stacks are gone, that's the end of the game. So you're up against a lot, and you don't know how random it is. Just by the first tile that you flip over trying to get another tile for your hand, you could cause something to score right away, and it's useless. So for that game, maybe this building scoring is useless for right now. So you have that. You also have, you can get consecutive turns. You can you have a tile that you can flip over that gives you a couple different little abilities. There is an A and a B side. So there's an easy side where everything's the same in the rows and the columns, and then there's one that's like different in every single one. So you just have like a little bit of different setup. Also, these bloom tiles right here give you like a second turn, or they allow you to they give you a second turn, or they allow you to double score. So there's a lot of scoring in this game, and we're talking, easily 80, 90, 100, 100 points. It's a very feel-good type game for that reason.
I'm not getting a sense of the weight, though. How heavy is this game? It seems light.
This is actually a really light game.
Okay.
But I think once you get to that side where you're going to have these, where the pattern is not the same, because the pattern being the same on one side. I'm sorry, this is the side with the pattern. This is the side where the pattern is the same. So like when the columns and rows aren't the same, that's where it's going to get real thinky, because you got, I said thinky, sorry. Anyway, but that's where it's going to get tough, because now you're not just going like, okay, I know that when I do all the roses that I'm going to have this lined up. Now you're like, okay, so the rose is over here. I need to get to the rose, but that's not going to set up my combo right now. I got to think a little bit further out. That's where it's going to go. So think like when you play Azul and you play the regular side, and then like you just want to go crazy and try to do the other side. Not that intense, but at the same time, that level of thinking that you may, like I said, you probably be pretty interested in. I think this game, now, like I said, this game is not a home run. I think the big turnoff for this game when you do play it, especially for a first timer, is to see that scoring thing goes so fast. So, making sure you shuffle the tiles is so important, because it really stinks. I mean, as you take down a player count, you're already going to have a certain amount of tiles taken out. And then on top of that, to have, let's say, 2 of these things hit the rescoring option already, first 2 turns, first 2-3 turns, it takes some of the, the excitement out of the game. But you do score every time you place a tile. So it's like,
I'm looking at the designers, and I think, aren't they the same ones that just put out Copenhagen? That looks like the same people.
Yes, it is.
But Sidekick Games is not familiar to me.
They're new.
New company?
Okay. Yeah, they're new. And this is on, I think it was even on sale on Black Friday. So yeah,
it was. It was a pretty good deal.
So I would, like I said, this is another one where I think,
try before you buy.
If you did buy this one, you bought it on sale, you would probably be very, very happy with it. I think it's a good game. So I think it's a good game. I just don't think it's like super home run. I had fun playing it. It was a nice light game.
Fun game. Bloomtown from Sidekick Games. BJ from Board Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Jambalaya. Hey, Jesse Fernandez is checking in. We hadn't seen you, Jesse, but he made it just in time.
Hey, man, you're here.
Don't worry, Jesse. We got plenty more games to talk about. And one of those games, Jambalaya, I talked to my buddy Eric Yurko from What's Eric Playing because I couldn't find any pictures on this one. This one was a little bit tough to get.
He gets the games that I get. So
Hebocon Battle Kit. Am I saying the name right?
That's where you go to. You go to.
I looked at this list and I know almost every one of these games, but Hebocon Battle Kit, I have no idea. What are we talking about here?
Okay. This is actually pretty cool. I think you would appreciate this, honestly.
Look at this game.
I know. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so what happens is Hebocon is actually a convention. It is, like you have those robot war shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and what you're doing in this game is like this is like the anti-robot wars because those are like the most intricate, most beautiful, weapons of destruction, and they're beautiful, right? Well, Hebocon was established in 2014 by Hebo Master, and it was held in Tokyo. And what this is the word Hebo derives from the word Heboi, which means low quality and just crappy. So
really.
Your job is to create terrible robots, okay, and have them fight it out. That's Hebocon, right?
That's a cool theme. I like that.
So your job is actually to make not a not so attractive robot. What you're doing is you're actually taking tiles. They'll be in almost like in a patchwork circle.
Okay.
You lay out these tiles in patchwork circles, and they're very Tetris-y. And what you're doing is this is the cool part. So when you get tiles, you are not to lay them out so that you can see what they are. So like when you lay them out, I'm literally saying, as you get a tile, you lay it on top of each other. So you have like these junk piles. You actually have a junk pile laid on top of each other like this. So you'll have, I think, 9 tiles when it's all said and done, and they'll be laid out on top of each other. So you can't even tell the order anymore. You can't tell anything. And then a stopwatch goes off. But you don't have to use a stopwatch. All you have to do is everybody will say go, and then they will lay all their tiles out on the board. And what this is setting the stage for is a programming part of the game.
Okay.
But you have to do this on the fly. So when the first person completes their little board, then the timer starts. So it's like then the timer starts. So when the first person finishes, then the timer starts.
Okay, I've seen a couple of games do that. Yeah.
Right. And you have 1 minute. Okay. So then when you're done, the assessment, first you get 30 points to start out with, I think it's 30. Yeah, there's 36 tiles in here. However many you have left is how many points you get. So like you don't want a perfect robot. You do not want a perfect robot. Like you don't. The worse off the better, but you also have to be prepared for combat. Okay.
I'm loving this theme and I'm liking these twists. Hey, thanks to Eric Yarko, by the way, for these pictures because I couldn't find him anywhere else. But he takes great photos.
Pictures. Yeah. So what you're doing is now you see those little screws right there?
Yeah.
You're going to be taking screws and you're going to be putting on your little programming board and on those tiles that you put. And those are going to determine the programming for your robot. So the robot's going to be moving across to the little areas here. And you guys are going to be bumping each other and pushing each other off and knocking each other off the board. So you're literally going to have your little robot guy, and then you're going to be pushing each other off and going to spots that score points and things like that. So they have things that add to your score and take away from your score. Now, that part is sometimes anticlimactic because you may have not set up a good programming thing for yourself. But I should say the strategy is that all these tiles have like little scoring combos on them. They have directions. Like if you hit this blue one, you can place a screw on another tile. They have ones that can help you turn around. They have ones that give you points just for being on there. So yeah, I mean they have. It's got some decent strategy to it. It's silly. It's super silly, and it actually gives you nuts on it. It's crazy.
So.
Yeah,
you've sold me on this. This is one I'm not saying I want to buy, but I definitely want to try. And it sounds like a fun con game.
So the reason why I'm saying this is because Big Cat Games is going to be at PAX U. So I wanted the 2 games that I have from Big Cat Games, they're going to be at PAX U. So I want you to, just to see these. That's the reason why I brought them up, because I was like, oh, wait, they're on there. So I got to
do me a favor. When you go to PAX U, if any of you have gone, and I know Steve is going, and I'm pretty sure Verla is going. If you go to PAX U, pass by Big Cat Games and check out this game for me.
Check it out.
I want to hear what you have to say.
Just check it out. It's ridiculous.
You actually sold me on it. This one looks like one I would want to try.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
And that is Hebocon.
Yeah.
Hebocon Battle.
Desktop Hebocon Battle.
Desktop Hebocon Battle.
By the way, and it actually says Crappy Robot Battle on it.
from
Big
Cat Games.
Big Cat Games, yeah. Mm-hmm.
BJ from Board Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Jambalaya Plays Games, and Jambalaya and I are talking about spicy games, but here's a game that wasn't as spicy as some of the others. I want you to talk to me about Fantastic Factories, because I played it at BGG Con, and it was a miss for me, but I want you to sell me as to what I missed.
You are a loser. You're the only person on this planet who does not like this game. I was so excited to talk about this game. You got to be freaking kidding me.
But before you get started, let me tell you what happened. We had
I'm breathing. I'm in my feelings right now. Don't talk me off the ledge.
We had just played Aquatica that day.
Oh my God.
And if you've played Aquatica and you've played Fantastic Factories, there's a similar mechanic between the two. Look, there's Dave going hater. Because Dave loved this game. He did. It was, and the other excuse I'm going to give you is we played this after midnight, and I am not an after midnight game.
Oh my goodness, man.
Not an after midnight game.
Come on.
So I'm willing to give it another chance, but I want you, Jambalaya, not Dave Duga. I want you, Jambalaya, to sell it to me. Why I played Fantastic Factories.
Okay, so let's just talk about what Fantastic Factories is. Small history story for me. It is one of the first games that I reviewed for my blog, and it is, I think, the first video I ever had. The first video I ever had on my YouTube page. Yep, it was the first one. So, because I played the solo mode, and
Jake says I need a tall glass of Haterade.
You need a tall glass of Haterade. Okay. Anyway, so this is basically a hand management and dice placement game, and it's engine building, tableau building kind of thing, that kind of stuff. So what you're doing is you're drafting these cards and you're trying to build them to get points. You're also trying to build the cards because they score points. You're trying to manufacture goods, I should say. Manufacture goods and also build buildings to score points. There's many different ways to do that. So you're going to be getting cards. You're going to be getting these cards that have fulfillment conditions with different resources. And you're going to be using the dice that you roll to place in different buildings that trigger different abilities based on certain criteria, like on the numbers, or they have you trade in certain resources to get better scoring combos or more resources. But the cool part is this little board. What you're doing is placing the dice in these boards here to research and create cards, generate, which will give you more of the electricity resource, and then this iron right here as well. As you can see, it's any number, and this is 1, 2s, and 3s, so you'll get 1, 2, or 3 of that resource, or you'll get 1 of each one of these if you place a die in here. If you have doubles, it gives you 1 extra of that. If you have triples, then you get 2 extra of that. Now, the cool part about this game is that it's very easy to learn. It's simultaneous, which is very important. It doesn't lead to a lot of AP. You can, if you get players, they know the turns, then you can allow everybody to kind of just do what they're doing.
Yeah. We did that near the end of the game.
And if everybody's got a long engine going, you definitely kind of want to maybe see what they're doing so you get an idea of what's going on there. You're like, wait, why are you getting 3 goods every turn? I've seen it happen. Yeah. So it can ramp up real quick, but they have these different contractors in the game that will give you bonus abilities for the round, allow you to roll extra dice. They'll have you give resources to one person to help build your stuff. So there's a lot of different little fun things that are on that game. But honestly, it is a very pleasing game. It's a very easy to build an engine. Even if you don't have the best one, you will always have one. And I'm big on that because some games, let's say like Everdell, you'll have games where you don't build an engine that's really great at all, but then you'll also have people who know how to even build like a small one and they'll crush you. Or they just won't end their turn. Like they won't end the game. They literally have like 10 turns left in their game.
Sure.
Whereas like in this game, even if you have a bad engine, you'll have an engine. You'll get a chance to feel the game. And I like that. It's just, I just like that. By the way, Everdell's a great game. But I'm just saying, this game, this is one of those games that even when you have that disparity in the two, you're still going to have the fun on your own to go like, ooh, I want to get better at this. It's a game that you really do, whether you're winning or losing, you're going to want to get better at. I feel like that's kind of the big claim for me, is that you want to get better at this game. And easy rule set. The solo mode's really cool. Really what you're doing in solo mode is you're adding cards to his tableau from dice rolls. And when cards of the same color, you're actually going to be rolling all the colors of dice. When the colors match the number of cards when you roll, like let's say there's purple, if you have 3 purple cards and you roll 3 or below, then you trigger scoring for them. So it's like, it's a little risk and roll, a little random, but it's also a good way to prep you for how to play the multiplayer mode, which I really like. It's a good little puzzle, and that's why I actually made it my first video, because I just enjoyed. I played the heck out of this prototype, man.
The first time I got to try it was at PAX South 2017. Joseph Chin taught me just a turn or two way back then, and it took a long time before it came out. It stayed in development for a while, went on Kickstarter and all that. Hey, I like the finished product. I'm not as big a fan of the art as some other people have been.
I'm not a fan of the art at all.
Okay, good. I'm not the only one.
I just don't care. Like I just don't care. Like
my big problem was that I played it right after Aquatica, and Jambalaya. Aquatica has an engine building card playing mechanic that just it's hard to put those two games next to each other.
Yeah, it is hard to put those two games. Aquatica is good, but I played that against Jeremy, and Jeremy Salinas is like, I think he was a professional Magic player. That guy, man, he crushes you. Like I didn't even get a chance to have fun. He's so good at that game.
Any mantas at all?
He played the heck out. He played the heck out. Oh no! You know what's interesting about that game is that's also a game where you want to get better at, because the cards really do lend yourself to small engines, and I like games that do that. Like at least they don't squash you for not being great at the game. Like that's how I feel. Like they don't squash you for.
Well, back to Fantastic Factories. I like the way you describe the small little engines. I do remember at one point of the game near the end, I needed to do something to get some card, and I had to go, oh, let me do this to do this to do this. And those moments always do make you feel clever when you can pull it off.
Yeah.
So I think you've convinced me at least to play it again. Fantastic Factories. And the so many of my friends love this game that I feel like I'm missing something. So
yeah, you are missing something.
Something in the head. All right. So Fantastic Factories. I know it's designed by Joseph Chen. I can't remember the name of the company. That is
he just Meta Factory Games.
Meta Factory Games. All right.
Which is just him, right? I think it's just him.
I'm pretty sure him and a bunch of friends. At least at PAX South 2017, it was a bunch of friends, and they were all demoing in the indie showcase. But it should be out there right now. You can find it. I know it's been delivered to the Kickstarter backers because people are playing it on social media. And that's Fantastic Factories. A pass from me for now, but Jambalaya has convinced me to play it again.
Yeah, you should.
BJ from More Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Jambalaya, and we're talking spicy games. How about another game I had no idea? I had to go deep in the archives.
What do you got?
Talk to my buddy Eric Yurko about pictures of Seventh Night. I don't even know this game at all, Jambalaya. Where are you getting these things?
It is right here. This is Seventh Night.
That's supposedly the box cover.
Yeah, this is supposedly the box cover.
All right, so
funny. Okay, so
these pictures are from Eric Yurko, by the way, from What's Eric Playing. If you haven't seen his blog, make sure you check it out. But Jambalaya, tell us, what is Seventh Night?
So you have these tiles, and the tiles have different points on them and things like that. You're gonna be laying them across. Spreading them out in a row, right? And then each player is going to have their own deck of cards. They're going to have different numbers on them. So everybody will have these 1, 2, 3s, 4s, and 5s, right? And what you're doing is, here, let me flip these over. Sorry. All right. So what you're doing is you're playing a card from your hand. When you play the card from your hand, you're playing it in front of one of the tile that the gnome is currently on. Sorry, the gnome. The little gnomey guy starts on. And when you play it, you can move it left or right by that amount of that number.
That's that little white figure there on the green.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I do if I play a 4, I can move it 4 left or right. Okay. And if I can't, if I have cards in my hand where I can't move it, then the player gets to take a card from my hand and discard it from the game.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. I know. and then you draw from your hand. You can play multiple cards on the same one. So you can play these 2 1s and move 2. And what you're doing is actually doing a little, well, I guess area influence in a sense. You're influencing that card, that tile. And the card, I think they go up to 6 points. So you're gonna be fighting between 1 to 6, or I believe it's 7 actually. You're gonna be fighting 1 to 7. Yeah, so 1 to 7, and you're gonna be fighting over those because whoever has the highest numbers under this tile will score for this tile. So they will own this tile at the end of the game. It's 15 minutes. It like I said, it's just a little. I'm really big on having games in my backpack, like games I can play with somebody real quick. And I mean, this game probably is not going to be more than $15 either. And I'm just a fan of having those games. I'm sorry.
It sounds like it fits in that genre of those small box games that give you kind of a big experience from the little mechanic that they explore.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like it's you can have coffee and play this game. And I feel like if you're just sitting there talking and you're waiting for some people, you whip this game out, you can explain the rules, and boom, you be done. Probably, and people will probably sit and watch you play because it's such a neat little, just a neat little puzzle. And that little hand management choice of like, hey, do I want to move this 4 over? Well, that puts them over by this 5 over here. But I want to trap them because maybe I feel like they have this amount of cards in their hand. I think it even tells you the distribution of the cards as well. So yeah, like it tells you the distribution of the cards. So you also are paying attention to that. You're like, okay, well I see they have their 4s out. So they probably are holding on to this 5. I need to make them play their 5. So I'm going to put
Seventh Night is published by Mogwai. Is that how you say it? Mogwai?
Mogwai, but they're going to be at the Big Cat Games booth too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know that Eric talks about Mogwai a lot. I don't know much about their games, but I like what I'm seeing from you.
I will be talking to them at PAX U.
So the company itself is going to be there, not just their games then.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's designed by Yasutaka Ikeda. I wonder if he's going to be there at PAX U. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of, like I said, a lot of playing games at their booth pretty much for a couple hours just to see what they got. So.
And that is Seventh Night, a 2-player game takes, you said, about 15 minutes or so, right?
Yeah, like 15, 20 minutes max. Even like Hebocon is like 30 minutes. Yeah.
I'm interested. BJ from More Game Gumbo, I've got my guest here. Jambalaya Plays Games, and Jambalaya are talking about all kind of spicy games. And one of the ones that I've heard, but I don't know a lot about, and I want you to give me some help here. Wayfinders. It looks visually intriguing, but I don't know a lot about the game. Tell me about the game.
All right, so let's see. Wayfinders. This is by Pandasaurus Games. This is their only Essen release.
Okay.
And in this game, you are basically people flying. I don't know, those little biplanes. Those little. I don't know what they're called. But anyway,
biplanes or seaplanes.
Seaplanes, like the little seaplanes. Okay, perfect. So you can actually just keep that right up there. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to start in the middle of the board, and you are trying to move to different tiles. Each tile
I love the little pieces.
Yeah. So we got to talk about that. But
okay.
But the tiles, all these tiles, man. I wish I don't know why my quality is so bad, and I'm looking at you like in HD on my screen.
Yeah, I know.
We're both looking at each other in HD on our screens. Like I don't know.
I'm coming in clear. Chat crew, let us know. Is it me or is it Jambalaya that's coming in a little fuzzy?
I'm literally looking at both of us in HD, and my connection is super strong. But anyway, whatever. Just keep that picture up there so people can see.
Yeah,
so
that's the solo picture they're seeing.
So what you're going to do is you're going to have 2 boards. You're going to have like the pilot board with a whole bunch of little circles on it, and those are going to be your little pieces. They're your resources for the game. And you're going to be placing your little workers on this little airway run strip. That's the part you don't have up there. And you're going to be placing them on the run strip, and then you'll eventually pull off. And when you pull off, you will get all the stuff that's in that area, that lineup. And maybe you can pan back to me real quick. Sure. But yeah, they're gonna have these little kind of like little areas where you get these pieces here. and the pieces go on there. Now, what those pieces are for is to help you get across these routes. Now, the picture you're looking at is going to show a whole bunch of, like at the bottom here where this orange plane is, it says yellow, yellow. So you have to have the yellow, yellow resource in order to go through there and lay your little airstrip. Okay. So airstrips are how you travel for free around the board.
Okay.
And as people lay those, they will claim ownership to that tile, and the tiles have all different scoring conditions. So it'll be like for every one of these surrounding these that you own, you get points. For having a specific color, you get points. For having all in a row, you get points. You get to skip reds from now on. Like you don't have to worry about paying for tiles with red. You have all these different types of things that you do. And if other people own that tile, the person that's in first place, instead of discarding down to 3 when you pay your resources, you give those resources to the person who is first place on that tile. So there's a little bit of strategy because some people may want the same scoring condition as you because it may help them with their little engine that they have set up for the end of the game. But at the same time, you get the benefit of having all the resources. So you have less time that you need to put your workers on this board and constantly put them on there, pull off, put them on there, pull off. Because you're only doing 2 things. You're placing a worker or pulling off and doing the scoring part and running around here. So the cool part is just it's super simple, but like because the tile laying is random in the beginning of the game and you don't use all of them, you're gonna have different setups every time, and it's a really interesting game. Once again, in the vein of Bloomtown, I think it's a good game. I think you would definitely want to try this out before you buy. It will be at Pandasaurus's booth, I'm assuming at PAX U because it was an SM release. So this may be the first time you'll be able to get your hands on it. But I do think it's a good game.
Do you have some problems with the pieces? Are they too small or what's the problem?
Okay, so I have a problem with the pieces because the workers, and this is something you can cure like super easy. It's just the way they're melded. So they may have like little extra clippings on them, and you'd have to like cut them off.
Oh,
so yeah, like I probably still have some with that on there because of course I play these games and I toss them to the side sometimes. But yeah, you have to like clip it off because there's like a little extra
little sprues.
A little sprue on it. And it's weird because they were in bags when they got here. So why do they have those on there? Just strange. That's all. It's not like a deal or anything. It's just
I love the little tiny planes. That's a Meeple that I haven't seen. It looks fun. That's Wayfinders by Pandasaurus Games. I don't know who the designer is. Do you know who that is?
What is his name? Thomas. Oh boy, let's stop. Let's just stop right there. I'm not even doing it.
A tough one.
His name is Tomas. So I'll get that right and be done with it.
Tomas Dagenet L'Esperance.
There you go.
I recognize his name from something else. He just had something that came out. Anomaly, yes. Ooh. And he also did Decrypto.
He did Decrypto. That's okay. I was actually remembering
Anomaly. If you haven't played Anomaly's really a cool game. Yeah. So that's now I forget Desperance. I know that's his last name. I can't remember his middle name. But that's Tomas. That's right. And that is Wayfinders from Pandasaurus Games. Something Jambalaya says fun. Try before you buy, right?
Yep. Try before you buy. Definitely on that one.
BJ from More Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here. Jambalaya Plays Games, and we're running through a bunch of spicy games. And here's a game that I want to talk to you about. And it might not be for the reason you're thinking. The reason is it's Flotilla by J.B. Howell. And he's the guy that did Reavers of Midgard, one of my favorite games from this past year.
Yeah.
I'm curious about this Flotilla because I've heard a lot about it.
Okay. So Flotilla is very loaded. Okay. So I'm going to try to explain some of this. This is actually a pretty heavy game. It's medium weight, but it's medium weight pushing towards heavy-ish, right? So what you're doing in this game is basically it's kind of that, it's like 1950s, but everything went to haywire, nuclear explosion, and now we're down to water. Okay. So what you have is this is it's got a little bit of everything. So you got tiles in a bag you're taking out. Yeah, as you can see right here, that's my
wow,
friend.
there's a lot of pieces, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces in this game. You're building your base off of there. And actually what he has right there is that Buddha's not in the game. He takes Buddha pictures every night at my game night.
I think this is right off of one of your plays.
Yeah. So what he's doing is that's actually your base in the beginning of the game. And you
so
have
that is not from the game, though.
No, that's not from the game. So what you're doing is you're going out and grabbing these tiles from the bag based on card play, by the way, and you're going to grab resources, and you can be a sink sider. So in the beginning, as you see water right there, you are a sink sider. All right. But during the game and at any point of the game, you can become a sky person. Okay. So you have two different types of games that you can be playing in the same game. Okay. So when I say this, you literally can be playing two different games in the same game. So you're looking at a sky sider, but the flip inverse of the card is totally different. So you actually have, I think it's 5 or 6 cards in your hand, and you're playing these cards in a Concordia style fashion where you can play a card, and when you decide you want to, you can play this leader and get the cards back in your hand and things like that. So what else are you doing in this game? You are trying to build kind of relationships with factions. So you have these different wheels that you'll have with your partner. So you'll have different boards right here, and on those boards will be another set of cards. They'll be level 2 cards, so they'll have more actions that you can do. But you also want to win favor with them because it's going to unlock more things. It's going to give you some scoring points at the end. Now, when you go out as a sink sider, you're going to gain resources by rolling dice. So there's some dice chucking in this game. You could pick up radiation. You could cause certain things to happen, and you also may have moments where you can trade in stuff that you pick up from those resources. So there's a little trading market here as well. There's that kind of stuff happens too. Now, as a sink sider, when you flip as a sky person, you have a different thing where you do research. So you roll dice, and this is the crazy thing about the sky siders. They score points in a totally different way because you flip all the tiles that are on the board for your area. And now you're scoring it. You're scoring by placing tiles that come together to form certain things. Let me try to put one together real quick. Let's see. But anyway, like basically you're trying to put these things together in a certain fashion so that they start to build like little flotillas like this. And they start to come together.
I see
together.
now.
So as they come together, sorry, I'm looking at this. As they come together, you start scoring points. And as you can see, I have 2 or 3 pieces. When I put the third piece on there, I make a discovery. This kind of discovery thing, which goes back to the main board. And the main board has these discoveries, which you draw from a little mini bag. And the mini bag has little bonus scorings in the game.
Wow.
Yeah. Then you have tiles. I know, this is crazy. Then during the trading thing, you have you can turn in these tiles that have a huge amount of scoring bonuses in. And by the way, there are sink sider ones, and then there are sky sider ones.
Wow,
so,
that's a lot to think about.
So there's a lot to think about, and the game is a point threshold game. So there's going to be a certain amount of points, like West Empresario. So there's a certain amount of points in the game.
And that triggers the end.
Right, it triggers the end. So it can be a kind of a slog. Like the first time you play this, you don't know how to play it. You don't know how to make it go, because at sometimes in the game, going to the market is important. So you can just sell stuff, buy low, sell high, right? That kind of stuff. Other times, because of the way things are panning out, you may want to vacate being a sink sider and just go for the more risk and roll of getting these points from these die, because these have more points on them. If you're a sky sider, you have more opportunities to get kind of bigger bonuses, but it's just rolling, really. Like it's just rolling.
And you can decide. You pick which strategy you want to go through.
Yeah. And the thing is that like you can win games both ways. There's not like this is better. It's just that sometimes, like even to the last kind of turn of the game, you may go like, okay, I switch right now and I can do all of this at once and I'm good. And that's kind of what I want to emphasize. Like it's really about timing, but it's also like, yeah, you know what? I'm playing this time. This time I'm just going to be a sky sider the whole time and see what happens. Or this time I'm going to stay in the water and see what's up and just gather resources, buy low, do all these different things. There's I'm not even explaining everything in the game. There's a lot that's going on, even just by the fact that there's all these faction cards that you have in here. And I don't even think you use all of them in the game. I can't remember, but yeah, I don't think you even use all of them. So you have these different factions. They're going to give you different bonuses and how the cards play out, and they become part of your deck. So this is really a deck build too, and deck builds that have two-sided cards. So,
wow.
I mean, you know, like that's crazy. I mean, it's crazy.
I like what I hear. I think JB Howell is one of these up and coming designers. We're going to hear about him. I was talking to him at Dice Tower Con. He's got a lot of games that are signed, man. I'm telling you, we're going to be seeing him just coming out with game after game. He's one to keep your eye on.
Papillon.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I have not played that one yet. Your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. Like Papillon. So this is one of those games where theme could turn some people off. And the components can turn people off. So let's just be honest here. It is a game where you have flowers. You're going to be doing like a little bit of a tile drafting thing where you place your little worms, and the worms are kind of like some things, but you're trying to gather more points. And what you do is by a combination of area control, by placing these little clips that are actual butterflies on flowers. Okay. So you're dominating them. They're actually like cardboard flowers, and they kind of like, they're nice and set up. And then you also have this tile part where you're kind of creating these little gardens and openings. And those openings are going to score you points for having open fields and also having things of the same color. Similar to like what I just showed you in Flotilla, where you're going to have things that if they match, the more they match, the bigger the enclosed patch or bush, I should say, of that color, then you get more points. And that's basically the game. It's just a beautiful aesthetic. But at the same time, that could be a big turnoff. You're looking at these big old cardboard trees in a sense, you know. Like,
yeah, but it sounds like a different theme. I remember I had a little trouble with Kickstarter. So is it out?
Yeah, it's out now. So yeah, like you have these little flowers and stuff, and now I've had this box tilted upside down and right side up, and also it looks fine. You know, like, so you put them in there. I mean, that's kind of stuff I think people want to know first. Is like, does this thing fall apart? I've had this standing up. The flowers are in there. They're built already to have enough space for that kind of stuff. I mean, if they break apart, I mean, you probably could just glue them together, whatever. It's not a big deal. You probably just glue them together. That way.
And that's some of JB Howell's games, Flotilla and Papillon. Papillon is from which?
This is from Colossal.
Colossal Games. That's right.
Yeah. This got caught in this just got caught in a situation. This game was over. I think the campaign was over.
It was actually over.
Yeah, something. Yeah, something went down and it was over. So, yeah, it's fine. It just shipped, so it's fine.
BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Jambalaya, and we're talking spicy games. And one of the games that I wanted to talk to is our friends over at Skybound, Derek and James and them. They've got a game out that I haven't played yet. I played the first one, but not the second one, Grimm Masquerade. What is this game all about?
Okay, so I don't know why anybody is not talking about this game. I have absolutely no idea why. I just have no idea why. I have no idea. Okay, so basically you are at a dinner. All right, everybody's going to get a roll, so they're going to have their card, and then their card is going to tell like what they need to have and like what they can't have. Like, so you want to make sure you want to make sure you have the. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think
sort of a deduction game.
Right. It's a deduction game.
Okay.
So what you're doing is you have a hand of cards that are going to have those different things on them. So let me grab these here. So you're going to have cards in your hand. You're going to draw one artifact, and you're going to place one face up like that, and then you're going to give the opposite. You're going to have the opposite one face down. So you're going to have basically some information. People are going to know what you're doing. Okay. So what you also can do is there's a set of cards on the side of the board. I don't know if they have it right there. Actually, they're in 3 right there. And you can do these little abilities. Like the ability is going to be like, hey, I want to see if you're this person. So if you guess this person and you're wrong or right, they will put down a little clue token that says, no, I'm not that person. So as you accuse people, you're finding out who they are, who they aren't, but like they have to give a little bit away. And eventually what happens is like people give up and they're finally exposed. Now, when you are exposed, this is the cool part. When you are exposed, you're not out of the game.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You still get stuff. you still can accuse people of being out of the game, and you can possibly get points out of it. So the cool part about it is there's a deduction to it. It's a very easy deduction, but the cool part is that when you get found out, you're not out of the game. Now the cool part, other cool parts that are in this game is these different abilities. So you can spend some of these. I can't remember what they are. I think they're hearts or stuff like that to do other things. So you can do like this. You can do peek at a guest list, look at 2 unused character cards because you won't use all of them, and it will help you deduce who's there. Okay, so as the game goes along, you may go, all right, now we only got 4 of us left. I can deduce 2 of you. Like secrets. Take the wager card of the character you think will win. So if you're out of the game, boom, you could who you think will win. You have pickpocket. Look at 1 unused character card and then draw 1 artifact and keep it or give it away. So you're trying to get these cards. You're trying to give them away to people so that you can kind of entrap them and make sure they have the wrong cards. All kinds of stuff. And those you don't even use all of those. What's that? It's just Grimm. It's Grimm characters. So
Grimm characters. Okay.
Hansel, Gretel, Big Bad Wolf, Sleeping Beauty,
and you're trying to unmask and expose the ones, right?
And dude, there's a little bit of modular stuff to this too, because I think there's even ones where they have ability cards if you want to do that. But you are scoring points. That's the thing. You are scoring points. I think it's 1, 3, and 5. But like I said, you can score points in different ways as well. So yeah, I really like this game a lot. I haven't played it in a while, which is why I'm probably mumbling over this, but I love this game. Like, I think people should own this game. This is like, and I'm not a deduction fan. See, I'm playing these games this year that I'm not necessarily like, those are the types of games I seek out.
Right.
And I made a point this year to try games that are like that, like a Cthulhu
game. Your wings a little bit.
Deduction games, like these types of games that I'm not used to. Even the one I'm about to talk about later, I'm usually not, it's not my type of game. And I was so impressed with this game. And actually, a couple people that I played with this year, played this game with at cons, they were the exact same way. And I was so excited about it. I made them play with me. And they were like, I like this game. And I think one or two of them, I think that game we played, they bought it with me. So, yeah, I mean, like, it's just that it's really fun. I like deduction, but this one is good because once you're out, you're not out. And I like that.
I like that too. I don't mind being out if it's a short game, but a long game, that can be really irritating. But it sounds like this one, you're still affecting the game even though you're out.
You know what? Rounds can go super fast just because of sometimes like the guesswork is kind of like, oh, I can kind of guess just by the fact that they handed that card off right away.
Yeah, I'm curious. What did they say is that? Let me see what they say. What does Skybound say is the... Oh, so this is Tim Eisner. So this is the same people that did that designed the Grimm
Forest.
Grimm Forest, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Grimm Forest.
It says 20 to 40 minutes. Yeah, in a 20-minute game, I don't mind if somebody gets knocked out because you're just waiting around for the next one.
But this is a high recommendation. This is not. It's not going to be like my top 20 game, but it definitely. There's just so many good games this year. I'm not kidding you. Like, I couldn't tell you that this is a game is a top 20. It is that. It's just good though. It's very good. I would own it. I would own it. I would buy another copy. I would buy a copy to give to someone as a gift. It is, and it's definitely one to break out at the family table because it's easy to teach. It's very
perfect holiday gaming, right? Little Thanksgiving or a little Christmas gaming.
Yeah,
and that's Grimm Masquerade. Big thumbs up from Jambalaya. Check that one out from Skybound Games.
Especially for that theme, that Grimm theme. You got to see those characters, and people are going to be like, "Ooh, it's not that hard." Yeah, not that hard. Play a card face up, face down.
BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Jambalaya Plays Games. We are talking spicy games, and one of the ones I wanted to talk to you about was a game that we featured in a recent unboxing and overview, Aristocracy. Tell us about it, Jambalaya.
Okay, so Aristocracy is a game with a ridiculous amount of setup.
Oh, really?
Yeah, put that picture up. You will see. So Aristocracy, yeah, you see that board right there? You got to put tiles on every piece of that.
Wow, that's a lot of tiles, Jambalaya.
Like 110 tiles. All right, so you have these different tiles. They're going to have, what is it? I think it's like corn. Let's see, there's corn, there's wood, there's whatever, and there's like churches and castles. What you're doing is you're flipping 3 of these over. So on your turn, you flip 3 of them over, and then when you flip those 3 over, if you grab like the resource food, so like the food or the wood, you take those, like those kind of things, you collect them. Okay, and sheep, I think it is. It's wood, sheep, corn, and fish, like that kind of thing. Then you have ones that are like the kings and the queens, and those are the timers for the game. So when you take the queens and you take those tiles off and you put them on the side of the board, on both sides of the board, and that kind of is your track trigger for the game. But you're also going to be able to place your little castle guys. There's also going to be these little things too. There's also churches and something else, like churches and castles, and you're going to be able to start playing these on the tiles where you have the kings and queens and the churches and stuff like that. And when you play those, they're going to represent area control. So you place them in a line, you get a certain kind of scoring mechanism. You place them, you dominate, like you have like 3 in a certain color area, you get to grab a scoring tile. If you have 9 of one resource, you get a scoring tile. So there's all these different things of, kind of like trying to pay attention to what area you want to control, how you're going to tie these things together, because people are going to start picking, they're going to start picking and choosing, like, okay, I have no chance to get 3 in the yellow area. So I want to make sure that I, maybe focus on the edge of green and blue together to create a route of my little placements on here. So yeah, it's really easy. The only setback in this game is the fact that the setup is ridiculous. So you're going to really need a good friend to help you set this up. You're going to have a good friend with a nice warm cup.
If the gameplay is worth it, that people are out there, they don't mind.
You know what? And the thing is the best way to just explain it is like you are literally just flipping things over. You either taking them to collect them, or you are moving the game forward by, and that's the thing. There's going to be tiles that are flipped, and you're going to choose not to take those, or you're going to choose to maybe just take, now I see all these kings and queens out here, or now I see all these churches out here. I want to go after those now. So people are always going to have multiple things that they can choose from. In the beginning, it's just very simple. But as you see all these laid out, now you're trying to pay attention to like, what do I want to control? There's even one thing that's, I think it's like if you're by the pond, you get certain things too. So there's a lot of little things in there that are, it's a Reiner Knizia game, man. I mean, come on, it's a little bit of a, it's got a little bit of think before you pull so quickly, because the weight of your choice afterwards. It's simple choices, but the weight of your choice, may come back to bite you.
The art reminds me of some of those other games that TMG has in kind of that same universe, Harbor and all that. Do you know if this one fits in with that?
This, just by the fact that I see that troll on the front, possibly. That troll type that they have on the front cover.
Yeah. I'm looking it up on BGG right now just to see if it says anything.
Yeah.
Maybe not though. I mean, it's a Reiner Knizia game. Let's see.
But
I know it might be just the same artist,
But they're making a shift, so you have no idea what's going on right now. But they're making a shift right now, and I don't know, like if that's going to continue, like the Old West Impresario and
right.
And Pioneer Days together. I don't know, if they're going to continue that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think this one is this is another one. If you're going to PAX U, definitely demo it. Because I know this one's going to go completely under the radar. So it would definitely be something that you would have to, like I said, I think you have to make an informed purchase on. Definitely try it out at a game night. This is one of those games that might be in a demo at a game store. Or maybe not, because there's like 110 pieces that could be laid out. You can lose 2 pieces and you're screwed. They do give you extra, by the way, they do give you an extra little sheet of extra pieces.
Oh, really?
Yes, they do.
I like when games do that. I remember the first game I ever had was Ticket to Ride, and it had, the first game I saw with extra pieces was Ticket to Ride. It had the extra trains in it, in every box. And I thought that was cool, just in case you lose a little train or not.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't mind all the pieces. Johnny Pack convinced me to play Santa Maria last night by myself, solo. Yeah. And it took a while to set that game up. But if the gameplay is there, Jambalaya and Aristocracy, I'm willing to play it. Yeah.
Aristocracy, nice puzzle game. Like I said, a nice puzzle game. Of course, this is going to be Reiner Knizia, so that's what it is. It's puzzles.
Well, Well, if what you heard from Jambalaya intrigues you, check out Bradley's unboxing on our YouTube channel. We actually open up the box, Jambalaya, take out all the pieces, and do a quick overview of the gameplay.
Okay.
So between that and maybe seeing it at a friendly local game store, right? That's what you need to do?
Definitely. I would definitely take a look at that one. They have another one called Dawn of Mankind that's out there too. So they have I think a pair of games. No, they have another one too called Solar Sun or something like that. So they have 3 games currently that are coming out on the market. Definitely probably want to check that out. Especially, like I said, if you're having the PAX U, definitely want to check out their booth. And just kind of pay attention. They got some, TMG always has some interesting kind of titles. They don't really have like a set thing. Even though they say they do, they don't. It's like they have share of light games. They do have medium weight Euro games with interesting themes.
Little Box, Jiraku, and Okie Dokie, right?
Yeah. So, and they just have, like I said, they do take risks. They are a very diverse title publisher.
All right, Jambalaya, that's all the pictures I have, but I know you have one more game, and we got time for one more. Which one do you want to talk about tonight?
Oh, boy.
DJ from More Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Jambalaya. We've been talking spicy games, and I want him to surprise me. It could be on the list or something else. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, you know what? Let's talk about oh my God, you're killing me. Okay. Oh, actually, let's do this one.
Clip Cut Parks or Planet?
We're not going to do Clip Cut Parks. Dude, by the way, get Planet. Are you kidding me?
I've played Planet. Love it.
Are you kidding me, guys? Come on.
Planet's a great game. I don't know why more people aren't talking about it.
Nobody has this game really yet. Okay.
DJ from More Game Gumbo. I've got my guest Jambalaya, and we're talking Aftermath. That's a game I don't know a lot about. Tell me about it, Jambalaya.
So Aftermath, if you've played Mice and Mystics, okay. Sure. So Mice and Mystics is a game where you are little mice in a fantasy, kind of like fantasy knights, knights and stuff like that. Except you're rats fighting in the sewers, fighting off cats and, mice and stuff in their little things, right? When I played that with my son, he was probably about 4 at the time. And I just made up some rules because I wanted somebody to play with me. And he liked the stories because I could like
pushing the pieces around.
And the stories are really nice. They're well written in that game. And we used to call it Mice Warriors. So he was Mice Warriors. So he would roll them and I'd say, "You attacked," and he'd be like, "Yeah!" And then it was great.
That's funny.
but this one is more mature. It has a more mature theme. It's in a post-apocalyptic universe. And this one is designed by Jerry Hawthorne. I'm not sure if he designed original Mice and Mystics. I'm not for sure.
He did.
But he did. He also did. By the way, shout out to him because even the second expansion of that one is like just a great storybook. It is ridiculous. So if you ever want to do Mice and Mystics with your kids, like that second expansion, you have to get that expansion because that
I'm
book.
have to check that out.
It's just like it's a great read, like almost like Harry Potter-ish, kind of world thing. But anyway, this one right here is Aftermath, and this is in the line of these games where you're going to have the book where you're playing on the storybook in a sense. So what you are is these mice, post-apocalypse. Don't know where the humans are. I think they're dead or whatever. And you're going to have this book. The book is going to be your adventure book, and it's going to have the different layouts. So you have these layouts on here. Sorry, I'm trying not to get too much shimmer on here. And you're going to be placing your mice on here. Now, the cool part about this game is that you are going to have these different mission cards, and you're playing through a campaign, which is like a campaign that can be played in 2 hours, in a sense.
Oh, okay.
So you basically are trying to complete these missions and go around this board, moving your mice one card to one card, and that will correlate to like a page in that book. As you go across certain parts of that page, you will eventually get to places where you will look at the story on that page and read the paragraph of what's going on that page. So you may have some mice. You may have these mice rangers and stuff sitting on that board already, just kind of hanging out, just doing some things, and you may stumble upon them. And you can actually go up and talk to them, or you could fight them. So you can actually kind of like, "Hey man, what's going on? We're here just trying to find this piece of, this old piece of glass that we needed, like for one of the glasses bifocals or something like that. And we need it really bad, or we need an antenna to take back to our encampment." And you can kind of talk them into it, but they may say no. And then you're fighting. Okay. So here's the cool part about this game that I think this is what will sell you or not. Actually, there's a couple things that are pretty cool in this game. You have cards that you play. Now, unlike a lot of games where, okay, so you have these cards. The cards are going to be just like decks of cards, right? And you're going to play these cards, and they're going to have different symbols on them. So they'll have like a light bulb, a shield, one will be attack, and then one will be like a wild. And what you're doing is playing the colors of the cards to do the actions. So you'll have movement action cards. So you just play a card and it says, hey, I moved 2. But then if you want to go across a certain line, you may have to play combinations of the same color card. The same color card or a combination of doubles. Let's say you have to play all 2s in order to get past there, or a combination. And that's actually how you'll build up your pool for combat. That's how you do a lot of the different things in this game. So you actually have a little bit of hand management of how you're going to play these cards. Then you roll the dice, and then you go up against the enemies.
So that's kind of a little step up from Mice and Mystics World, huh?
And like, okay, so here's another little interesting part. So the timer for the enemies is on the side of the board, like this here. And I'll explain the campaign very quickly after that. But what you're doing is you're basically putting these cards on the side here, and they trigger as they come across and they go down here. They will start to trigger the mice as their cards land on here, which is pretty interesting as well. Now, this is, like I said, it's a campaign, so there's a timer. You'll have your food and resources. You'll have the population, because some events will happen and your population will go away. There are choices to be made, so you guys can kind of figure out what you want to do. What do you want to discover? And if you discover something, it may be added to your mission deck. For the game, there's it's called like Legacy or Dynasty or something like that. So you start adding these cards to your deck, and now you have
they come back later on and affect you.
Right. So now here's the cool part. So once you fulfill a mission within the time that's allotted, so like every time you move to a different board, it's like it's time in a sense. And there's certain events that will add time to what you're doing. So you need to get to where you need to go before you fail the mission. You go back to your encampment. Okay. Now, this is where the another interesting element of the game comes. When you go back, depending on how you've done in the mission, you'll have an encampment. Let me see here. Yeah, a colony. So you'll have a colony in between missions. In this colony, you will take some of the things that you've done, and it will, like, some people will leave, some people may die or something like that, but you will also take some of the stuff you have. If you reach a certain threshold or certain things, you will fulfill these and you will get better, just better stuff. So you're trying to fulfill the character's specific goal for the campaign, which that's a negative because they're always going to be the same. So if you chose 3 characters, one character will be like, I need to defeat 20 enemies or something like that, or I need to find this item. Well, if you do this mission, you'll get closer to finding that item, or you do these 2 missions, you'll always finish that item. So it's kind of like that part's not the best, but you're going to get like a water pump. It'll add bonuses to your village, like your little colony, because that's what you're doing. You're going out and getting these things, bringing them back to your colony, getting this information. Now you'll have a public council. So now you'll have bonuses to your building, lookout posts so you can see enemies coming, that kind of thing. So you're adding these little cards, and they all go in these little tuck boxes. Go on these little tuck boxes right here. These are for your characters, but you have your little tuck boxes for your kingdom and stuff like that. So you're adding to your little legacy box, but it's really just small little mini campaigns that you can play 2 hours. You know, I think what I would say about this game, and by the way, like I said, you're going to have these missions. You're going to have mission cards, but then you're also going to have ones that get added into that because you've unlocked it by making choices that are in the book. So, it's a really, really interesting game.
So the publisher calls it an adventure book game, right?
Yes. So like similar in the vein of Stuffed Fables, similar to the vein of Comanauts, but I didn't like either one of those games. So this actually was the one that I liked. So that's the reason why I want to talk about it, because like they have the equipment. You have these little upgrade abilities that the characters get. So all of them have their own little abilities. You got the long range guy. They have all the RPG elements down. They have the mini.
They've got the minis. They've got the great artwork.
The minis are stained already. They're already shaded already. Yeah,
this looks really good. I like you. I wasn't that interested in Stuffed Fables at all. This looks, or even Commandants. And I saw a demo at Gen Con, but this looks really interesting.
Yeah, this one is
Aftermath by Jerry Hawthorne with Plaid Games.
Yeah, that's the one that I think people really should check out. And this one is
one of the rates.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those ones that's like, this is exactly what you would want in a game night if you're trying to convince your friends to play a campaign game, because it's 2 hours. You know, like you're going to be playing for 2 hours. You're going to fulfill all that stuff, maybe 2.5 at max. And you can play another game at game night, you know, like you can play another 2 games at game night, because this is not going to take your whole night. And the rules
ratings are way up there. There's just not a lot of reviews and not a lot of talk about this game, Jambalaya.
There's not. And I think it will come very soon. I'm going to be working on a review for this one for MBM. Or you'll see it on Solo Sundays very soon, just so you can get an idea of how it works. Because I kind of took a little hiatus when we'll be going into a big hiatus coming up here because of conventions and stuff like that. But holidays. I think this is one of those games. It stuck with me. It definitely stuck with me, and I think people should check that one out.
That's Aftermath by Jerry Hawthorne with Plaid Hat Games. Check that out. Big recommendation from Jambalaya.
Yeah.
All right, board gamers. Somehow, Jambalaya covered over 16 games in about an hour and a half. Jambalaya, that's probably the most we've ever done on this show. You really, it might be more than 16. We covered a lot of games on this show, man. But you always bring them, and people love having you on here.
Man, thank you so much for having me on, man.
So what's next for you? You got another con coming up?
Yeah, so I will be at PAX U.
Oh, can't wait. You going to do a little coverage for us?
I can do whatever. Man.
You're going to do your usual thing where you're interviewing people.
Or
are you going to kind of lay low this time?
This time, I really do need to lay low. So I just difficult times. Want to definitely lay low. Get to know and see a lot of you. So if you see me, just say hi. You want to play a game? I'm playing a game. Don't worry. I like to meet as many people as possible and play with as many people as possible. That's kind of what I am. The reason why I say party people, because I want to play with you. So, I always want everybody to have fun. And the best thing about conventions is I don't have to teach, which is great. Yeah. Because I will not volunteer to teach anything.
We do want to thank our friends over at Game Toppers LLC. Upgrade your gaming experience with Game Toppers LLC. Make your game nights a showstopper, Jambalaya, when you play on a Game Topper.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I love Game Toppers, man. They gave me my match. Shout out to Game Toppers, man. They're great.
Also want to thank What's Eric Playing for the images of Seventh Night and Hebocon, which I had never seen before, and our friend Jeremy Dobler, who took the pictures of Cthulhu Death May Die. Although some of those pictures were mine, some of those were from him. Check out Cthulhu Death May Die. I'm telling you, what a game. What a game.
Yeah, I think people are really I know that it seems like the new hotness, but that game, I mean, like, it came out of nowhere, and I have Nemesis right here. I have Tainted Grail right here. I've got a slew of games that are great too, and it's right there.
It's right there.
It's right
there. So,
there.
Jambalaya, how can people reach you if they got some questions about games coming up at PAX?
Definitely can. Yeah, you can definitely PM me. I don't mind being PM'd if you want to do that. I'm at home right now, so you can PM me. You can ping me at Jeremy Howard, or you can go to Jambalaya Plays Games, Jambalaya Plays Games community page.
But I'm pretty Twitter?
I'm on Twitter at Jamba PG.
Jamba PG.
Yep. Or you can,
or Man versus Meeple on Sunday nights. You do the
So on Sundays, Solo Sundays with Jambalayas at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time on Sundays, CDT Central Standard, whatever. And you can also see some of my Kickstarter previews, or if you can't make the live, I have the replay on the following Monday. And it's usually an upgraded version of what you're seeing live. So, because I think Facebook outputs is 720p. I have mine like 1080 or 4K on the actual blog, on the actual YouTube page. So that's usually what you see. Like what you're seeing on Facebook, it would never look like that when I'm recording it on my own thing. So, yeah.
Oh, what's going on tonight with your picture? I checked with Steve, and Steve said me and the pictures are coming out clear. You're just a little bit fuzzy. Sometimes that's the server burp or something.
I have no idea. I got this new internet. I'm at 200 megabytes per second. That's why I'm like, what's going on here? So Yeah.
So make sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/BoardGameGumbo. It helps us to get the word out about all of our upcoming shows, including next week. We've got Rolling Dice and Taking Names. Marty and Tony will be coming into the show. At least Marty, hopefully Tony, if we can get him in there. Hey, everybody, I'm BJ from Board Game Gumbo. And until next time, Jeremy, Jambalaya Plays Games. Laissez le bon temps rouler.
Thank you so much for having me.